And with the new strategies being put in by the police service, by you and you, deputy commissioner, and the acting commissioner, and the other members of the service, are you optimistic that we will be getting a better handle? And one can be optimistic in spite of reality, but I'm asking you to include it. Are you optimistic with the strategies being implemented that the citizenry can say we can look at a 2-month period where we do not have a death a day? Right now, we are outpacing that. But can the citizenry say at some point we're going to see some measurable examples of crime coming to livable standards? It's never going to be acceptable. So, you just say, listen, crime is a reality.
Manageable.
Manageable. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yes. Let me tell you that from where I sit, I have the greatest of confidence in the ability of those officers who I have the privilege to command to really bring some level of successful amelioration to the challenges that face us with respect to crime. It is nothing that we have not done before. And I'll give you an example. In 2014, we recorded 405 murders, less than 2013, where we recorded 408. Now, while these figures are not significant, but it was particularly of a psychological nature to really record less murders. And at December, we were about 5 murders less than 2013. And my officers made it through their specific effort and brought the crime down. I am confident that with astute leadership, with the commitment and dedication that I know that they have, that with the intensification of our strategies, that we will bring the level to which you speak about. Whilst I can't give you any guarantees about numbers, but I can tell you that in the future, in the shortest term, it will be somewhat manageable.
Realistic optimism.
Realistic.
I've got 3 minutes remaining on me. I cannot have you leave here, Deputy Commissioner of Police Glenn Hackett, without inquiring as to a situation that I found rather troubling, very troubling. And this is what happened in Chaguanas, where we had a situation at the school, and it is reported, my guest last week was Tutor President Sinanan, Devanand Sinanan. He said he got there about 8 o'clock. He left there about 9:30. Calls were made to the police station in the area. No response. As a matter of fact, if I am, and I'm pretty sure I am clear in hearing the communications director, Ms. Lovis, say that the police got there at 10 o'clock. My question is, you've got a situation in a school, the threat of a gun on the premises, the threat of gang violence, with a history of reports already made to this police station. What in God's name would be the reason why it takes more than 2 hours for the police to respond?
Very regrettable situation. And it is as Mr. Sinanan said, and it is as Ms. Lewis reiterated, that the police got there at 10. I don't think that the strategies employed by the police at that point in time was commensurate with what was needed. On receipt of the complaint, what they should have done is to send a unit to the school. What they did is to embark on investigations within the geographical outlay of the schools because of the information that they had. They were looking for persons who were gathered with guns and so on coming to the school. So they put resources on the outward perimeter of the school to ensure that they could deal with that. But at that point in time, they should have sent a unit to the school to inform the authorities of what they were doing. So I think that
misdirection of resources or incompetence, how would you call that? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I mean, it's troubling. I understand on the one hand, you're looking to see what can be brought to bear, but you're being told there is a situation here. Here is the epicenter. Yeah. And there is not a response there. I find, respectfully, I find that totally unacceptable.
Yes, it is. It is. And tactically, it wasn't the thing to do. And I take blame for that as a senior member of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, although I had nothing to do with it. But the point is that we have trained officers to respond in a particular way. And when they do not respond, it tells you that a training need arises that would effectively deal with that. And we have put things in place to ensure that we deal with it. One of the things that we have done is, with the advent of that situation at Chaguanas North, we have mandated all the divisional commanders to ensure that our regime that we have to deal with stakeholders in the education ministry and schools are intensified. That is to say that officers patrol the school area, they go to the school, they interact with the principals, they talk to the security persons on the compound, get feedback from them, bring it up to the upper level so that we can do some tactical initiatives with respect to dealing with it. There is the situation where we want to bring more focus on the police youth clubs into the schools. We have a program that I want to generalize to other schools, but it is happening right now in Sangre Grande. We call it goes by the acronym of the CITY program, the Caring Intervention for Troubled Youths, where we have children who have been expelled from school. We have a physical facility where we take those children, the police that is, with help from persons who have the requisite skill, knowledge, and abilities, and we take those students and really it's a behavior modification program through education and the infusion of sports and so on and so on. And we have had graduates from those that initiative, persons who were once considered to be troubled students, who have graduated from tertiary institutions and become productive citizens. So it's something that has been in train in Sangre Grande since 2012, and it's right now it's taking place with Shabodi, as you mentioned, down in Western Division, but we want to generalize that to other school areas, and it is something that we'll be approaching external stakeholders with to fund so that we could get that initiative going.
Deputy Commissioner Glenn Hackett, you have said a lot this morning. You have also offered a number of services that folks can access. We will remind our listeners that come Tuesday, we will have this interview posted on the TTRN YouTube channel where you can go back, listen to what the Deputy Commissioner has said, and be able to access a number of these services here. I can only thank you so much for taking the time to come in here, and I keep saying I'm totally exhausted my time, but I must ask this one. I'm sorry, guys, I must ask this one. I mentioned rogue elements within the police service. You said the PSB and the other infrastructure, you have to take care of that. Are you comfortable, even though we have done the stop of getting them in with the limited training they've been getting and so on? Are you comfortable that enough haste is underway to extricate these bad actors? And this is not to say it's only SRPs. I'm not implying that for a moment, but the bad actors generally. Are you comfortable as a Deputy Commissioner that enough is being done to get these out fast? And the reason I make that my last question is because that is precisely why we have folks with questions in their minds as to why should I cooperate with the police.
What I can tell you is that the Professional Standards Bureau, whilst they are very hardworking, they need an infusion of human resource. And we are presently looking at doing that. Now, it's a special type police officer that is recruited into that unit. Special training, polygraph testing, and what have you, and so on. So we are doing that to ensure that they are given the capacity, we incapacitate them to really deal with the situation, as it were. Not saying that the situation is one that is out of control, but we need to give them some breathing space, as it were, with respect to more human resource to deal with it. And then when we infuse that human resource, I'll be satisfied.
Let us hope that that huge budget that was given to national defense will give you a little bigger slice of the pie, maybe some cherries on the side.
Minus 7%.
Deputy Commissioner, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. I truly appreciate it. And we, as I've committed to you before, we at TTRN will be at any time at the service of the police service to bring clarity to our listeners and to bring services that folks can access to keep working with you, because only a collective effort can indeed get a hold of and bring to manageable levels, to use your words, the crime situation.
Well, I want to thank you for having me, and it's my pleasure. It was my pleasure to be here, and I hope that I was of some assistance to you.
Very much so.
And your listenership, and probably TTRN. We can engage in some talks, because what we have on the table now is a program by the police service that help solve crime. Where we target murders, help solve this murder, you would have seen it probably on the billboards and so on some television programs, and help find me. That is to say, persons who have been missing and so on. So probably we can have some collaboration.
Yeah, we will work on that, and I will not pretend to be Inspector Alexander. I had to do that. I'm sorry. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you.
So
Same to you.